Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Comics Discourse 114. I'm one of your hosts, Brian Newberry.
I'm Brian Clark.
And I'm Hassan.
Tonight, we're doing a little slight twist of our top of the stack. The guys wanted to talk about a whole bunch of Image comics, but not old Image comics, brand new, hot off the presses, sometimes multiple printings of each issue of these that we're going to talk about, but a whole bunch of new comics. So I'm just going to name off some of the ones I have. The guys have some that they have on their list, but we may talk about all these, we may not. But I've got Corpse Knight, The Darkness versus Angelus, Dork, I Hate Fairyland 50, the kind of wrap up of this volume, it appeared to be, Lost Fantasy and Fireborn, Lucky Devils, Scissor Fight, Narco, Red Roots, Royalty, Royals, sorry, not royalty.
Uh,
Sacrificers, She Spawn, and White Sky. So I got like a dozen on here. I know. What do you guys have that I didn't mention?
um, well, I got If Destruction Be Our Lot. Let's see. Oh, She Spawn. I don't know if you said that.
I
Uh,
did. Brian made
uh,
me read it. We'll get to that.
and I think that's it. I think that's it.
Brian, I miss any you got?
I'm trying to think. I'm
We
sure.
didn't mention any Jeff Johns
But
imprint, Ghost Machine
but they
stuff,
haven't
but we're
had a
not
new
hitting
issue.
those.
I'm focusing more on
They
the new books. Go ahead.
Yeah,
But yeah, go ahead.
there is a new Geiger,
this came out,
and
didn't it? Yeah,
yeah, and I read it. And you didn't mention Dork.
I
No, he
did.
did. He
Oh,
did.
All right. Well, we're going to randomly hit these guys. We did not put this in any order, so this is going to be very conversational. Um, I do want to hit one that ended though. Last week I got caught up and concluded The Sacrificers by Rick Remender and Max Fiamara. Did you guys read this, Brian? I don't think you were reading the
I read
series when.
issue one.
Yeah. Well, it's over now. If you do feel like reading it with issue 21. Hassan, did you wrap it up?
Nope. I only read half of it and then I stopped.
Oh shit. I guess it was just me. For some reason I thought you were reading it.
I
Well, it did
stopped.
end.
Hmm.
It did end. I let three issues pile up just to kind of read them all at once. This series, I like Rick Remender stuff. This one does kind of have a very dark ending a little bit.
The whole series was dark.
Whole series is very dark. I mean, just from the first issue where the sacrifices are killing little children. Um, but it follows that kid's life all the way till he's an old man and ultimately dies in this last issue. But since you guys did not talk about it or read it, I'm not going to go into too much details because it'll be, kind of pointless. There will be no conversation. Um, but all right, let's
I
start.
That reminds me of a book that you didn't mention that I need to get back into, and it's by Rick Remender, and that is Escape.
I wasn't reading that one. It's one of the few I'm not reading of his.
Yeah. A story arc just ended, so I think I read up to four.
All right. Well, Brian, I'm going to pass the baton over to you because this is squarely up your alley. She Spawn. You're the one of us
Uh
that is fully entrenched in all things Spawn. I think this is only the second issue of Spawn I have read. Hassan is tangentially Spawn involved.
Yes, I have read a lot of Spawn, but not as much as Brian.
yeah. Yeah, so it's She Spawn, aka Jessica Priest. This is at number one, which I guess is semi-rare in the Spawn world. There's a lot of Spawn universe books out now,
Hmm.
and a lot like they all cross over to each other. And so She Spawn has been leading the team Scorched with the Redeemer, Haunt. Who else is in that? Medieval Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn. and they're like a this team that Spawn put together and had her lead it. So it's kind of her like wrapping that up and dealing with that. And we get a little bit of a weird ending in that first issue where we meet this character named Al Simmons. So she gets
A young Al
some
Summons.
yeah, a child Al Simmons.
Who a
So
bunch of priests are trying to kill because he's they think he's I mean they guess they know
yeah,
what he's going
yeah.
to be.
Yeah, so there's like a lot of premonitions of the end of the world. This book, like I don't know, I think it's pretty fun. I like the Scorch team because it's a team of characters that I think is fun. I like having Haunt be part of it is really cool.
Yes.
Um, and the colors, I freaked out about this. I think the colors in this book are fucking awesome. This book looks
The
really good in
colors and
person.
the art are amazing. I
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
give it
Is
that.
is it the Ig Gara is the artist? Is I
Yeah.
and then
Hmm.
Robert Nugent is the colorist, and Gail Simone is the writer.
Yes.
Well,
I
I'm going
thought
to give
the
my thoughts. Oh, go ahead,
yeah.
Hassan. You
No,
you go. You go.
I thought it was fun. I thought the dialogue was awesome. It's actually kind of reminds me. I'm gonna say it. Not. It's like Lobo slash Deadpool type humor. Like she's definitely violent and very sarcastic. She just doesn't break the fourth wall. Um, and so I enjoyed it. That I probably keep reading it actually. So yeah,
Yeah, it's a 5 issue miniseries.
yeah.
Well, as the person that does not read Spawn, I did think the art was amazing. I love the colors. I did like the banter. Other than that, y'all, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I don't know who this character is. And you read this issue and it's a number one, you think I would get some sort of introduction to her or the team, and I didn't get shit. And
No,
I get it's a
You got to
spinoff.
find out that they're all assholes, and they
and
name them
her
That's
and
all.
her
That's
and
all
her
you need to
per,
know.
and her
about it.
pronouns are she and Spawn.
Yeah, but I don't know what power she got. Like, I don't know if she can do shit. It's and when the first spread, it looked like to me, it looked like Dr. Fate, Spider-Man, and Lady Deadpool with a medieval Thor were fighting some people. Um, again, I don't know who any of these characters are. I don't know what they can do. I don't know what her history is. I know what Spawn is, but she doesn't look like she's resurrected from hell, but is she? I'm not
No.
told any of this.
Yeah, well, you need to read, if you just easily read the first 300 issues of Spawn, you will
I
know.
will get it all.
No, I
And
don't.
the Haunt
She's
series
also
that
this,
came out years ago.
she is the second she Spawn
Yeah, I
with,
expect if
yeah,
it's a first issue, they're going to ground me somehow, at least give me some sort of blurb on the character, and then I get that. So personally, I felt a little lost. Is she a
yeah,
badass? Sure. Is the art great? Yeah. Other than that, I don't know what the fuck's going on. But that's just me. And again,
yeah.
I'm
But
not
some,
shitting
I
on the
mean,
book. I thought I liked a lot of
yeah,
it, but also I don't know what the fuck's going on. So that doesn't
yeah.
lead me to want to keep reading.
Well, I mean, it is weird that it's number one. It's a miniseries, so I don't know. Like, is it there for you to discover who she is, or is it just for you to be like, hey, I'm gonna hop into this and see if it's cool, and then maybe I'll go into the back issues.
I'm not gonna do that.
You're missing out.
All
So,
right.
but yeah, I mean, she has the necroplasmic energy that like got from Spawn, and she's sort of like hit like it is tough because King Spawn spawned the Scorched series, and then he he had her run Scorched, and Scorched. Uh, I don't know if Scorched is over. Um,
I think it
King
is.
Spawn and Spawn. Yeah, I think that's why we're getting this.
Brian Clark says odd to get a number one Spawn book is because Todd McFarlane has publicly said, well, Matthew Rosenberg is taking over Spawn and King Spawn, and apparently Matthew Rosenberg asked, "So, are we going to relaunch Spawn? As a new number one?" because he worked at DC Marvel, and that's what they do at DC Marvel. And Todd McFarlane goes, "If you want to sell more books, write a better story." And Todd McFarlane
Yeah.
said he's not going to relaunch the book. He's like I said, issue three
If you
seventy
want,
five.
I saw that,
It's
and
just
all I
a
could think
yeah.
of is Todd's philosophy really is if you want to sell more books, put out 10 variant covers for every issue. But
Well, when he said in the interview I listened to on Combo Council's counseling podcast, he said, "Oh, if number one sells, I could just put 375, and I could just put a number one on it, and then next issue I put a new number one, and next issue after that." He just like being sarcastic, but
yeah, well,
anyway,
that's about what they do now. So,
well, but I will keep reading this, and Matthew Rosenberg is a favorite writer of mine, so I'm going to try out his Spawn and King Spawn books as well.
Scorched is still going on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I like there are these Spawn Universe miniseries. There is like the Violator and Mammoth and Nyx, aka the original She Spawn. She had one. So um actually the cover to number 50, which came out last month, is an awesome Todd cover of She Spawn, where it is super 90s.
but all I say, I love the art in this, and the cover is cool, and the colors are popping. But all right, Hassan, I think there is one here you're really enjoying, if I'm not mistaken. You want to talk about Dork?
Yes, sure. I actually enjoy it quite a bit. So Dork, in my mind, started the well, it's not just in my mind. I think it's factually started the new craze of Image being like, hot Image books, because the issue one sold out immediately, and then ever since then, a lot of the new Image books, even though it's not a new company, it's been around a couple of decades, have been selling out, and this has been reprints. I think Dork number one's on its fifth reprint already, which is crazy. Um, but I pick up Dork on a whim. I didn't know it was going to be a hot book. It is a very hot book. I should be wearing gloves if I'm looking at this issue now, since it's worth quite a bit of money. But it's about a half dwarf, half orc, who has a death shield, and it starts off where there's a myth or a legend where someone from the light, someone from the darkness, which is a dwarf and an orc, being of that is spells the end of the word, or end of the end of the word, and as a result, both the army of darkness and the armies of light, or the good guys and the bad guys, are all after him to kill him because they're worried about him destroying the whole world. And he has a death shield. It's called a death shield that talks to him, and apparently there's a soul lock in there. And then in the first issue, he ends up killing a chicken with the shield, but because he killed it with the shield, the chicken is now a ghost and follows him, and it's now a regular character in the book. It's just fun. The book is by Brett Bean, who I believe needs to do I Hate Fairyland.
Yep.
Not familiar with him. I love it because out of all the books that we're going to discuss and all the books I read, it's different. It's fun. It's humorous. Yes, it's a continuous story, but it's really one done story with him in each issue dealing with somebody that's trying to kill him. And he's pretty smart. Sometimes the people he's dealing with are complete idiots. You learn a little bit more about the Death Shield throughout the process. The art is amazing. I just found out, looking at DC solicitations, that Brett Bean is doing an absolute Batman variant cover, which is going to be, I'm be interested in seeing that.
Sorry, did you place your order already?
Yeah, I did.
He
Um,
did
Yeah.
a Turtles cover too. It's pretty
uh,
great.
but see, Turtles makes sense, but I'm
Yeah.
absolute Batman. I'm curious about it. So I definitely think this is definitely worth the hype. And it got me, Brian Newberry and I covered I Hate Fairyland one time when Brian Clark was out, and I really enjoyed the first story arc of I Hate Fairyland, and so I actually started reading that again, and I'm through issue 10. So it's in the same vein of I Hate Fairyland, which I'm not as familiar with, But yeah, I dig it so much.
Yeah, he took over about halfway through the last, or they renumbered. Speaking of numbers, he took over about halfway through the I Hate Fairyland, and Scotty is so tied to that book in writing and art that I was nervous when somebody else was taking over the art. He is very much in that Scotty Young style of art, especially for that book, that it didn't miss a beat. You could hardly tell that it was a different artist, and I mean that as a compliment to him. And Jean-Francois Belleau, know I slaughtered that last name, is the colorist on this, and he's also the colorist for Scotty's books too. So this has a very similar tone. Um, Hassan, you failed to mention that it's not just a ghost chicken. It's a ghost chicken head, but the body is
Oh
still
yeah,
alive because, once
yes,
you cut a chicken's
yes.
head off, it still keeps walking around.
Which is hilarious because he's chicken without his head. Exactly. Yes.
And they keep destroying the chicken's body, but it still keeps getting back up. Like
Yes.
every issue, it gets like squashed or beat up, and it's still Dork is just carrying it around on a rope as he's climbing mountains and stuff, as the chicken head is talking to him. Since the chicken head does not have a body, though, it's kind of stupid, but it also, we find out, has the power to possess people. And when it does, the blood's flowing and it kind of gets smart again. It's weird. So,
Yeah.
It
but
gives
fun
me
book.
Bone vibes for sure.
That too. Yeah, I can see that.
I have no idea if this is a limited series or ongoing or what. Do you guys know?
Oh, I'm definitely sure it's ongoing now. It's selling like
Yeah.
hotcakes. But I to your point, Brian, I'm sure he thought of it as a miniseries at first, and like, oh, what I say differently is, nowadays you don't know if a book's going to hit or not. There's a lot of creator-owned books don't last more than one story arc, so I'm sure he didn't think it would last a long time, and I'm hoping that the quality stays for a while. But yeah, I think it's ongoing at this point for sure.
Well, since Hassan mentioned I Hate Fairyland, this seems like a very easy segue into issue 50, and I know you guys do not read it. It's all me on this one. But Scotty's putting a rest to I Hate Fairyland, at least in the afterword after this issue. Um, this issue was fun though. So Scotty did write it, but it's drawn by Derek Loffman and Scotty. Same colorist as Dork. In it, it gets kind of meta. Uh, Gert's been going through different genres the last few issues, and this one crams in a whole bunch. Um, we get absolute Gert in here. I think Hassan, I sent you a picture of that when it popped up. We get Sin City Gert, the Frank Miller,
Yes.
very grim and gritty, black and white with a touch of green for her hair. Um, we get Exorcist, her fighting kaiju, her doing the Mummy, Indiana Jones, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like he goes through like every big pop culture thing of late and previously, just because it's Scotty spinning his wheels trying to figure out where to go next with I Hate Fairyland, and it just kind of ends. It's like, yeah, I need to figure out what the next level of this book is, and until then, and it shows him closing his laptop, and then it's just like Gert on white pages with Larry, and it kind of ends at this point, and it's like Gert's like, it definitely isn't good, and then you get the afterword, and it was just like, without knowing that going in, it's kind of like not as abrupt, but when Kirkman ended both Invincible and Walking Dead, you didn't have any heads up, or especially The Walking Dead. People just walked in and found out that was the last issue. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
cool to not be spoiled on stuff like that, as I'm spoiling it for people. Um, but yeah, the last issue was fun and it lived up to the series. I'm sure he will come back at some point, but I can imagine with a series like this, you got to have something to keep it fresh because
Hmm.
you can't just tell the same dick and fart jokes over and over and over again. Not that that's what Scotty does, but it's got a certain sense of humor to it and plot. And after a while, that can you got to figure out how do I make this new and fresh, and I can see what the point was by doing that. So again, I loved it. I will be getting the deluxe hardcover to finish out my set, and hopefully, he'll rest for a little while and get recharged, and we'll have something new and fun.
Awesome.
All right, Brian, what do you want to talk about?
Um, let's talk about another hot image book called White Sky.
I read all three of those today.
Nice. I have read all three of these as well. Yeah, this book, let's see, the creative team. Um,
I I have
it's-
it. William Harms and JP Maviga with, yeah, that's the artist.
yeah, so William Harms is not new to writing comics, but new to me. Have either of you read anything by him?
I have not.
Yeah.
Yeah, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, so it was crazy because this book was like it got a ton of hype around it, and I think a lot of people read issue one, and you're like it was fine. It has an interesting premise. It's a father and daughter in this like weird post-apocalyptic world, and they're trying to hide, and there's ghosts, and they can change the weather, and so that's like kind of what's happening in the first issue is they're huddled up trying to hide from these ghosts. Um, and then her dad gets taken. And then I kind of left it there and didn't think to read more than that. Hassan mentioned that he read two and three and was like, okay, I have more thoughts and I like it better now. So that's when I decided to read it, and I would agree with that. So I don't know, Hassan, if you want to talk about issues two and three.
Yeah, I think the thing about two and three, it sets up the premise better. And I if I was to give them feedback, it's in some other books that we're going to discuss. The first issue is double sizes at least, and I felt like it would have been better if the first issue was extra length to pull you in. But yeah, so the first of all, when you describe a post-apocalyptic father-daughter by themselves, I'm like, you got to be more specific. What story are we talking about? I feel like,
Well, he even makes that point kind of he has a little afterword in the first
yeah,
issue saying, "Hey, I get that this will seem like, um, oh my gosh, what's the freaking,
Last of Us.
yes, and
Oh
the
Yeah,
yeah.
road
yeah.
and things like that, but that's just the start. There's more to it than that.
There is, but that's the thing is, I felt the first issue was okay because it didn't really pull me in. But I decided, hey, you know what? Let me just read the first issue again, give it another shot, and then let's read issues two and three. And I did enjoy it much better. You get more of the premise around how like there's people who are together, kind of like Walking Dead, and then they seem to be violent, but you also know that they're not. They're also regular people, also scared. You also get the what I thought was going to happen is that her dad was going to be killed, but he's not killed. He's taken, like Brian said, he's still alive. They're planning to move, but they also had to go back for this guy named Walter, who's supposed to be very dangerous. And he could, he's was it a medium, and
Yep.
he could talk to ghosts. And I think, and just so Walter makes it more interesting. And Walter and the girl have a bond or are together. Now I don't know about bonding, but now are together. Now the thing is, Walter has these guys are afraid of Walter. He's a lunatic. We don't know why. Um, Also, they find a very gross slaughterhouse, which
Yeah.
is like we don't know how who did that. Um, So it's a lot of more mystery introduced and more like makes it a lot more interesting than just the issue one.
Asa
Yeah.
Asa's dancing around the slaughterhouse. It's really gross because they've killed people. They're cannibals.
Yes.
And yeah, and they've got them hanging up by hooks in this place. Um, Walter, I don't know if it's him or his friend that he's in contact with. He's a medium, but he's also using some mental powers to talk to her from a distance. That's how the girl rescues him. But he also knows the future, or a friend of his knows the future. And
Yes.
Walter's like, I can trust Violet. I can only trust her. And he knows how he's going to die. He doesn't know how she's going to die, but he's like, we have to go here first because that's kind of what we do. And this is how we save your father. Like, he knows some stuff for the future. Um, but yeah, dude's emaciated. They had him chained up for some reason. And I think the other people are afraid of him and think he's a psycho because he is in contact with the ghosts and things like that. And he even mentions in issue two or three that, um, when he was a kid, it was scary. And then he just got used to it and it was normal. And then when the world changed like this and all these ghosts are like they are now, now he's terrified all the time. And it seems to have driven him a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But
Um,
like circles of salt prevent the ghosts from coming. But we do see, like, I guess they touched some dude or got him and it starts
the,
turning into one of them like a zombie.
yes. Yeah. His friend
Um,
kills him so that um, he does become one. By the way, the first issue end really depressing as well, where Vale puts a gun in
yeah.
her mouth because she's
Yeah, oh
so
Yeah,
yeah.
and then
scared.
I literally read these all back to back today. So I went from that page and I flipped to the first page of the next issue. There's nothing with her with a gun in her mouth, and I'm like, she's about to blow her head off. Why does all of a sudden she just out walking around trying to cross? Like, that was confusing, and you have to kind of go back and look at it. I think she was doing that. If one of the ghosts got in, she would end herself, and that's why she was doing it. But it just seems like she's scared, she's alone, she's gonna kill herself. And it wasn't till we see that dude in issue three start turning that I realized, oh, she was doing that in case they got in and got to her. But you can't tell that just reading issue one,
Yes.
unless you guys just kind of had some different thought when you read it. Because I literally thought, okay, this girl's about to kill herself. And then when I flipped to issue two, it's like, oh, we're at the next morning and she's fine and nothing's going on.
I I thought the same. We didn't. I thought the same. The art I think is good. I do think it's a little inconsistent, and what I mean by that is, like the cover is really great. Like I think the covers are fantastic, very detailed. Inside, I think sometimes it's very detailed. Sometimes it's not as detailed. Um, Also, the fact that everything has a white everything's white sky because of what has happened. It's like I wish there was more color in the issue. In fact, I almost forgot it was called white sky. I'm like, oh, they don't like backgrounds. I'm like, oh no, it's because of the white sky. Um, but I did, like I said, I did like it better once I got to issue two and three. I'm not sure I would put it on the top of my stack, but I would definitely keep it in mind in the future.
Yeah, it's an interesting premise. And the cover to issue four looks pretty compelling too. So.
I picked up the issue because of all the hype, and then when I first read the first issue, I'm like, oh, it's fine. And so I think the issues two and three really does bring it back in. Okay, sorry, Brian, go ahead.
Was gonna say, I haven't read it yet, but why don't you tell us about If Destruction Be Our Lot?
Awesome. So it is written by Matthew and Mark Elijah Rosenberg. We all know about who Matt Rosenberg is. Mark Elijah Rosenberg is his brother, who's a screenwriter, and art is by Annie McDowell. Um, and it is first of all, it's double size, which again, a perfect intro issue because it really gets you into the whole book. Clark, you didn't read this yet either,
I
right?
did read this.
Oh, you did. Okay,
Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
And it takes place in the future where there are no humans. There's robots, androids, and there's different types of androids, and it focuses on an android that looks like Abraham Lincoln. That all he does is tell speeches that no one wants to hear. But there's all these other androids, robots, and it's they talk about how they haven't seen humans for a long time. This is one robot that all he does is makes breakfast for humans, but it's been he said
Spot.
it's been 31,755 breakfasts ago since he last saw a human, which is 87 years. And he started
That's
making
like
yeah.
for it's connected to the four score and God, what is that quote from Lincoln?
four score and 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 87 years.
Yes. Oh, yes. Um, that's a good point. And these robots, when they malfunction, oh, he started making breakfast for Lincoln, even though Lincoln doesn't eat because he's a robot. And he started malfunctioning where he appears to be on fire. And if a robot malfunctions, there's another robot that comes in to basically destroy it. And it's a massive, like it looks like a creature, but it's again a robot, but it looks like a big, like I don't know what you call it, a kaiju type robot type being. It's all red and it basically destroys the robot. Lincoln runs away and then he gets hit by a bus. And then he travels the bus. The bus is also an android. And what you find out is there's all these different types of robots and androids. There's also a different society. There's a group of robots who are kind of like a gang outside the outskirts of the city that you have to be careful about. But throughout this whole thing, Lincoln and the bus end up seeing who might be a human. And when Lincoln mentioned that to the other robots, that some robots went crazy and then tried to erase their memory. The premise is just it's all set up, but it's a very interesting setup. The art is amazing. I don't know how the artist did it, but he designs all the different robots, different sizes, different looks. It reminds me of Gene Hall a little bit from Top 10. The different designs of the characters.
Oh yeah.
And, for a robot that's supposed to look like Lincoln, he's not a very smart robot. I find him like he's not very good. And the dialogue is fantastic. The dialogue, of course, is clever. Clark, did I miss anything?
I mean, it's just like the bus. I think the bus is, it's crazy that that's such a weird character. And I didn't know much about this book going in. And you get in, you're like, okay, this is a robot world. And there's this Abraham Lincoln robot. I was like, that's interesting. I did not know it was going to become the main character. Uh, so I'm very curious to see sort of where this goes. Part of me is like, it doesn't feel like that unique of a story,
Mm-hmm.
but there is something interesting. If the art was like it's almost the plot of like a Pixar movie.
Yes, I guess. Yes,
It's
it
just
is.
a grittier art style. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's going to be like Pixar heartwarming or is it going to because right now it's like it didn't like it's the end of the world, but it didn't feel like dark. It felt like lighthearted, even though this bus was like being goofy and they find like a person. There's like I don't know. It didn't feel dark. Like it was just Abraham Lincoln being like, "Hey, I saw a person."
Yes, but there is dark because they do fight each other, and there's a class there seems to be a class between the robots, like
I guess it's like coming off White Sky, which is very dark.
Yes. And it seemed to be Newberry. There seemed to be they were in a dome where you find out somewhere towards the end the whole city's in a dome, and they actually break the dome and you see something outside. So there's something outside the dome, and the robot's like, oh, maybe that's where the humans went. Kind of reminds me of Silo, where they're living
Yeah.
in a dome, and they don't realize there's something out there. Um, I did listen to her interview on off panel. I believe it's off panel. Matthew
Yes.
Rosenberg talked about how, this is an ongoing series, and he was talking to his brother. His brother's new to comics. He's like, and obviously with Image, they have to put all this money up front. They pay the artists, and his brother goes, wait a minute, what if the book doesn't work? And it's like, well, we're still going to do 20 issues, even if the book doesn't work. But apparently it's sold out, so the first issue did really well. But I enjoyed it a lot. This was one of those books that I was actually looking forward to. I am a big Matthew Rosenberg fan. Not everything clicked for me, but a lot does, especially his creative owned books stuff clicked for me. So yeah, very
Did you read
excited.
We're Taking Everyone Down with Us?
Yes, that was fun. Did you read that?
I need I want to start that like because I enjoyed this and I'm like, oh, I'll go check that out now.
It
And it's
reminds
available
me
to me on
on
Global
Global
Comics Gold
Comics.
tier.
Yes, yes.
I've been waiting for one of y'all to drop that since Image Comics are on there. I've been waiting for it.
Yeah, I mean, I got all these hard copies, but yes, it's on it. You'll like it. If you like, what's that animated Adult Swim animated series that Newberry you love a lot?
Aqua
Venture Brothers.
Teens, Venture
No, Venture
Brothers.
Brothers. If you love Venture Brothers, you'll love that book. It is.
Huh.
It's yes. It's that type of humor with like, oh, here's the heroes is it are horrible people and all these villains out to get each other. It's hilarious.
Brian, I have no idea why. I haven't read this yet, but I've seen like the cover and then just the robots description. You remember 2 years ago, Hexagon
Hexagon
Bridge?
Bridge.
Yes. The way
Yeah.
y'all talk about it reminds me of that for some reason. I don't know if it's even anywhere close to that. It's just,
Um,
I think it's just the robot since that had the robot in
yeah.
it. And yeah, I don't know.
Hexagon Bridge is a lot more like heady and what
Hardcore
like
sci-fi, not jokey
yeah,
and
like
whatever.
kind of crazy concepts. Like in this one I don't know enough to like it because of the dome aspect, I feel like the world will open up and get a lot more complex. But right now it's this not super complex sort of setup.
Speaking of image books, I wish we would have got more of that because it didn't seem like it really fully ended,
Yeah,
even though
I
it's
know.
supposed to
That
be
art.
5 issues. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna give you options: Royals or Red Roots.
Ooh, both are
I
good
did not read
choices.
Red Roots.
So we're
Okay.
gonna talk about both. Which one do you want to talk about? Brian, let's talk about Royals. I'll make the
Yeah.
choice. But we're
We
only
talked
talking about issue one, Hassan's Red
yeah.
Bow.
We talked I did cover Royals a bunch at one
Yes, you
point.
did.
Yeah, so two two
We'll be brief.
telepathic brothers. One's a dashing good look and the other is I don't he's just a nerd. And
Hmm.
he the good looking brother was an MMA fighter and decided now they're like, let's use this power to go win tons of money in poker tournaments. So the brother now has become a celebrity poker player because he wins all the time and he kind of came out of nowhere. And he is,
A jackass.
yeah, a
Yes.
jackass, like thinking he's like super amazing when he's just cheating the system. And the younger brother, is just awkward about it all.
Well, he's neurotic, he's geeky, but he's
Yeah.
was in the MMA too, he said. Like both of them
They're
were,
both are
but
fighters. Yes.
he
Yeah.
doesn't
And
have the
then
body like his brother or the confidence.
Yes.
Yeah, so this what's interesting I think about this, so this is by Derek Kirk Kim, writer, and art
Yep.
by Jacob Perez.
Yes.
The art, like you hear, like if you didn't know what this looked like and you just heard me say that, I guarantee you would not picture what this art looks like.
No.
I did
It's
not expect the cartoony art that is inside here.
yeah, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Like it's really fun. And you know, it's a very easy story to digest in the first issue. You're like you get everything you need. So basically the plot is they beat this guy that's like in organized crime and he's not into that. So
Well, and I got to go into a line that will part that will make Hassan squirm a little bit. The brother, the MMA one is very arrogant, cocky, ladies' man. He hit on one of the waitresses at the casino. After he won, she's like all over him. And he meets up with his little brother and he's like, "Come on, we gotta go back to the hotel." And the little brother's like, "All right, I'll disappear, just, telepath me when it's done and I can come back." And he's like, "No, dude, I mean we. She's into it. I talked to her. Let's do a Korean centipede on her." And I'm just like, he's wanting to have a three-way with his brother. That's kind of nasty. Like, what's to run Eiffel Tower on this lady with his brother? Like, no.
well, even if they weren't there physically, because of their mental link, it's always going to be a threesome.
If they talk
Yes.
to each other during it,
Unless they have a
Well,
little solo fun, then it's
and
getting real weird.
you guys forgot to mention they're Korean brothers, which hence the Korean centipede, and this story takes place in Korea
Yeah.
because they had to leave America. Um, I didn't like the art. I love the art. Like,
Yeah.
and once I got into two, I really loved it. And I'm not going to spoil it, but actually, it's like I find this art like is a good intro to um, manga art. If you've never read manga, like it's that type of style, even like and like it's not just the art; it's the story layout, right? There's some panels. There's so many, like in one page, there would be so many panels that would make Tom King like be crazy, like shocked by the number of panels on one page, because Tom likes to have a lot of panels on his pages. But I just think it's a lot of story packed in. Um, there are oversized issues, by the way, which also helps with getting into the story. Um, and I just think the setup in issue one was perfect, and it just takes off with issue two. So yeah, I'm all in. I'm not sure I'm allowed to use that term for image, but again, I just picked this up on a lark. By the way, I was just I've been going to the comic shop once a week, this looking at stuff, and outside my normal pulls, and I saw this and I heard about it, and I was like, oh, let me just try it, and I'm glad I did.
I was going to skip it over, but you guys were talking about it and you wanted to talk about it again tonight, so I read it and I did enjoy it. Um, I will grab issue two as well. Um, all right, I'll give y'all another choice: Narco or Red Roots.
I didn't read Narco.
Doesn't matter.
Let's
Pick
do
I
Red
one.
read
Roots.
Narco, but
Okay.
I feel like I don't remember much about it.
Why don't you guys go through Narco,
All
and and then I do Red Roots. Why don't you do that?
right, one second. So there's two issues of Narco out. Brian, I don't know if you've read both.
I have.
Um, Writer Doug Wagner, artist Daniel Hillard. I had, I'm gonna be blunt. I had no effing idea what this was about. Hassan just said, "Hey, let's maybe add this to the list to potentially talk about." So I grabbed it. I didn't know a thing. Never read a solicit. Nothing. Um, so when I read Narco, I was thinking it's like something about drug dealers or things like that. Boy, was I wrong. Um, Hassan, it starts with a dude talking about how there's serial killers probably in every major city in the country. So right away, yeah, I'm like, Hassan might be into this. We're talking about serial killers. He even references Dexter. Like this is right up Hassan's alley. And then it just turns into this kid keeps passing out. Apparently, we don't, it's not described in the first issue. You find out in the second issue. If the kid's heart rate gets too high, and a kid, I'm thinking he's in his late teens, early 20s, his heart rate gets too high, he passes out. So he faints a lot, and he often is pushing his heart rate to try to make it better. But then he's also narcoleptic. So the kid literally is passing out all the time, either from the heartbeat or from the narcolepsy. Um, Apparently it's like a thing. He's late all the time too, and his friends all seem to just know that about him. But I think the kid's a little neurotic as well. um, he's got a crush on this lady at a diner, so every week him and his friends meet there when she's working, and they've been doing it for like 2 years now. But again, like most of the first issue, I have no idea where this is going. Brian, did you have any clue?
No.
Well, apparently the guy lives across the hall from the waitress, which just seems really kind of stalkery as well, which kind of comes back and bites him in the ass. He's in love with her. She kind of finally asks him out because he fixed her Wi-Fi or is going to, and she's going to make him dinner. And he's stressing like, is this a date or not? But she's really flirting with him. But she kind of has an abusive boyfriend, and dude watches them through the peephole. Like they break up, dude about beats her, and he calls the cops to arrest him. But the night of his big first date, he hears her going into her house because he kind of times it every night. He is creepy on this, I will fully admit. Um, he's looking through the peephole, and she starts screaming and starts pounding on his door trying to get in, and he can't get his door open, and he gets so worked up he passes out. Wakes up with the police standing over him, his door open, and her dead body bleeding out next to him. And he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." And the cops hear him say that, and they think he did it. So he's immediately arrested for her murder. Um, but then they find all he's like some computer programmer dude, and he gets on these conspiracy websites and starts doing a whole bunch of kind of shit posts and conspiracy things about serial killers, like I mentioned at the beginning. And they're less like, dude, you've been stalking this lady. Your profile, the FBI have a profile on you and all your online activities. Like they're really making it look like he did it. And he ends up hacking into the girl's computer and getting all the records from her boyfriend that was abusive to her. And the cops take him with them to arrest him to try to get the boyfriend to act up. But we don't know who killed the girl. There's this whole serial killer plot underlined, but I have no freaking idea where this is going. This is by the guys that did plastic and vinyl and plush, all those really, really, really weird image series. So there's absolutely no telling where this goes.
The art is kind of wild because it gives me early Trad Moore vibes. Like kind of like if you read Luther Strode, like it's like a little, it's not quite as technical as that, but there is some pieces of it where I get that vibe. There's like a lot of like in the fight scenes. There's, I don't know. He
I can see that.
definitely he seems inspired by him.
Hassan, does this inspire you to pick this up?
I will try it out. It's on.
Okay.
It's, guess what? It's on
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, Global
It's on Global
Comics.
Comics
Global
Gold.
Comics. Yes.
Oh, these people need to call us.
I need to call them actually. Um,
All
so let's
right, Hassan,
go.
I want you to talk about Red Roots because
Yes. So
this
Red
book is
Roots.
fucked up and I don't know what to say.
So again, I didn't pre-order this. I went to the comic shop and I heard about it. I'm like, okay. People are talking about it. It's written and drawn by Lorenzo Di Felice. He was the main artist on Void Rivals for the first like 2 years, and I think he did Oblivion's song, is it, with Robert Kirkman as well. And so, you know what, I picked this up. It's again, I think it's well done first issue because it's double size. So it needs to be because it's really two stories, and
And that's the point. But I'm just like, I don't, I can't. One of them, I know what's going on, and the other, I don't.
well, the first and what's interesting is we don't know how they connect yet. I read it
Yeah,
twice, and I'm like, did I miss something? But
same here. And
essentially,
this is not just for folks listening. This is not a bad criticism of it. I did enjoy the book, but I'm just like, where the fuck is this going?
I agree, and I actually thought you would love it because it's horror, right? It's the horror aspect of it. So
Yeah,
let's call part story A starts off
story A
with
and B.
story A starts off with a hitman going into breaks into I want to say let's call it
Some
a
lab or something. I
lab
have
or
no
some
idea what it is.
warehouse, and he starts killing everybody. I mean, and brutally, he starts killing everybody. He whacks them, and he's part of. I think he's part of. They call it like a Delta team or something. And what you find out later on is that he's carried a picture of a woman, and they supposedly the guy that owns this place or the boss. You find out later on killed the woman, and he's out for revenge. Um, then you turn to story B is a teacher, and it's just like it seems like a regular teacher. Kids are being assholes again, regular high school. She seems to be, like her job. Has friends at the school. Lives by herself, although she does ride a bike home, which is kind of weird. But anyway, and she
She's
has
a
a
cat
lot of
lady.
cats.
We can't forget that.
No, she's a cat lady, and uh, she she finds out. She's eating her dinner, and she goes to the. She left out some food for the cats, and she realized that the cats didn't eat anything. She's like, "Oh, that's weird," and she goes look for the cats, and she finds them, and they're looking into the closet. And she opens the closet, and there is a dead. There's a head in the closet. Oh, and it's not
And it's
just
not
a
like a
head.
fresh head.
Yeah,
It's
it's old, cut off head, decaying head, and she freaks out. Obviously, I would too. The cops come, and the cops are funny because they basically ask all these questions, and like,
well,
are
I
you
think
sure?
she's prank calling him.
Yeah, well, that, and then they think that when she's in the station, they obviously think she knows who the person is, and like, we have ways to find out. If you don't tell us, we're going to find out. I find her story more interesting than the killing story, but
Hey,
honestly, there's some thought to it. Anyway, she's not allowed to go back home, so she stayed at her friend's house, and eventually she got cleared. They found out they can't find out who the head belongs to, so she goes back to the house. And what happens later? There's another head and another head. There's multiple heads
and then
now.
they start talking.
Yes. Yes. Now we have to go back to story A because the assassin slash killer does get himself killed in his revenge. And when he dies, somehow there's a root. There's hence the name Red Root. Red roots come out of the blood, engulfs him, surrounds him, and then pulls him into the blood. And we don't see him again. And you're like, what the fuck? But that's still, we don't know how it links to the woman. She's calling her mom. I think though this happened to her mom before because that's the hint we get, right? So something about her mom. It's like, Mom, it's happening. I think it started for me
I think her
too.
mom must have gone crazy, or this might have happened to her mom. Like, we have no idea.
Yeah. So we don't know what's going on. And suddenly, but there's a big thump at the door. Thump, 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 thump. And she thinks she's going to die. And she goes, I love you, Mom. And the door breaks down. And there's this big ogre, right? Let's call it ogre. That's a good describe. Super tall guy.
Yeah.
And he's carrying a big axe. And he goes, and when I say top, it's not, it's like a creature. And he goes, I think you have something that belongs to me. And that's how the issue ends.
And there's a head behind her too. Like the
Yes.
heads are popping up all around her apartment. But like this went from horror to a fantasy ogre busting out her door, and then I still have no idea what's going on with the assassin and the blood. There's a lot here to unpack, and I did enjoy it. But I was like you, I enjoyed her story more, and then the blood thing happened to him, and I was like, well, what the fuck is that? I need to know what's going on there.
I,
So,
I,
needless to say, I will be reading issue two.
I agree. And the art is amazing. Like, I enjoy Void Rider. I can't say it now. Void Rivals more so than you guys did, but I would say it didn't like pull me in with the and John Burke's my least favorite one. But this one really pulled me in, and the art, his art is so amazing in this. Like, because the tone, his art style fit the tone that he's drawing. Fantastic. I I love this book. I can't believe I just picked it up on a whim, and I'm like, oh my god, it's so good. So yeah, I'm picking up issue two, and it's sold out too.
Well,
It's sold out.
damn. I guess I gotta get this book.
I've been like I said, I'm always been a big Image fan. Um, I just think they're on fire right now. They're smoking.
I I would agree. The only my challenge though is like almost every image book. It's fun to pick them up individually, but they almost are always better to me collected as a trade.
I do
I
like that a lot of the first issues now are oversized or double sized. Not all of them, but I did read a lot the last couple of days, and a bunch of them were. But yeah, Brian, I agree with you. I like to let them pile up a little bit.
Well, I don't. I agree with you because here's the issue with Image. Now I say, oh, I love Image comics. Here's the thing: how I never think of them as my favorite publisher. They don't have a strategy because it's not like they say, oh, okay, let's figure out what in our schedule. No, it's very creator driven, right? And they always have like 5 new books. So there's no way you could read all the new Image books. It's impossible. And there's a lot of other new Image books we haven't talked about yet. And I did read a couple of them because of Global Comics. It was free. So I did read a couple of them, which I won't talk about because it didn't really, I didn't dig them. But there's so many, it's hard to keep up with them. So to your point, guys, I will pick a few of these, which I think the ones that I'm like, I was like, oh, really excited about and keep up with them. Um, but yeah, you just have to. It's just way too many new Image books.
Yeah,
Um,
what I typically like to do is if a new image book comes up and it looks compelling, I'll buy number one. It's a pretty low barrier of entry, especially if you do it, even if you do it digitally, then you don't even have a physical thing. If you really, really like it, it's fun to have a book to look forward to every month. Or worst case scenario, you just don't keep up with it, and then the trade comes out, and you're like, "Oh shit, I really like number one. I'm gonna get that trade."
yeah.
And that happens a lot to me. Like, I mean, and there's books like Department of Truth. I love Department of Truth. I have never bought a single issue of Department of Truth, but I buy all the trades, and it's awesome that way. And I've read the first like 20 issues of Department of Truth at least 4 times.
Well, I think I agree with you about like so certain books too, like Department of Truth, which is also on Global Comics Gold, by the way, to trade. Um, plug. But I think also that type of book and any Jonathan Hickman creator owned book, I cannot read monthly because it's so detailed. I read it month by month. I'm like, wait, what happened in the last issue? I think those books are better
You say
read.
Jonathan Hickman. At this point, I'm saying Kieran Gillen image books. I need to let pile up.
Oh yeah.
I agree that too. I 100% agree.
I'm
It's like
loving Die Reloaded, but I need to. I got 2 issues here, and I'm like, I might need a little more piled up on this.
and I do think in I've been listening to some creators talk about this. You know, the industry has changed. You know, so absolutely Batman and John Brooks are selling like hotcakes. Now some of these other books are, But I think the key is if you're gonna write for monthly, you gotta get the hook in on a monthly basis. Not here's a 5 part storyline in total 5 issues, because it's hard to pull someone in if it's just like chapter driven like that. You have to think about, because we all read a lot of books and it's hard to remember some of the details that if if you if you read month to month. So I totally agree. I totally agree. But yeah, so like that book I read monthly, but I do have to get back to you. I'm behind on that. So, but yeah.
All right. Corpse Night or Fireborn / Lost Fantasy?
Let's do
Corpse Knights.
corpse.
Yeah, that book was quick.
Go
Yeah,
for it, Brian.
Oh, okay. You're gonna throw me on the spot here.
I am.
Corpse Night, written by Michael Chavez, art by Matthew Roberts from Manifest Destiny fame, which is also another fantastic image book from back in the
Which, you know what?
day.
I have the deluxe hardcover. I've never read a single issue of it. I want to.
Oh,
I
Never
read the
read it.
first half of it.
man.
Actually, it's pretty
That's a
good.
book that we should cover because that's a pretty cool book.
It would make me take some plastic wrap off some shit.
Yeah, let's
And this
do
is a
that.
skybound book as well.
Yeah, and colorist Rico Renzi, letterer Pat Brousseau. So, um, this book, like, it's got a cool cover. It almost looks like it could fit into the
I
Spawniverse.
was gonna say, every time I see the cover, I'm thinking, is this Spawn? Is this Spawn? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Dark
yeah.
Ages Spawn? No.
And it is a story of like a father and his daughter in like the medieval times. And
1429.
yeah, so
Yes.
this little girl, I don't know how old she is, 12, I would guess, somewhere around there.
I
Um,
was thinking like 9, but
yeah, I don't know. It's tough. She's a tough girl. And her dad tells her stories of Joan of Arc and seems to be a pretty good father. Um, he is, they are attacked and he does his best to save her and tells her to run, but he is filled with arrows, and she witnesses his demise and buries him, and then continues to do the chores, and then just goes into town and tries to make money. Now, this town is full of trash people that want to take, just rob people, murder people, and they see a helpless little girl that they want to mess with. And lo and behold, a very cool classic horror scene happens where a hand emerges from the ground in the rain and starts taking these people out, covered in blood. Then there is like the leader of this group of brigands. Um, he, like he had some crazy armor, but basically where we're left at is the dad is back and he is undead and he gets this armor and is going to protect her. And
and they gotta
she's
go
like,
find Joan of Arc.
yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, like I guess they're going to go off on an adventure. Dead, undead, corpse dead, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it was a very quick read, but it's cool. It looks Matthew Roberts killed it on the art.
I,
Um,
I yeah, I my thing about it was I really enjoyed the art. The art is beautiful and it pulled me in. The story is pretty straightforward, and the writer is the director of the Nun 2 and the Conjuring movie, so there are at least a couple of them, which is interesting. So it's a horror story, and no, I did, but the art is just so beautiful. I'm not familiar with Matthew Roberts, I guess, except for Manifest Destiny, but I didn't remember the art being this nice in it. I mean, it's been a long time. So, but yeah, it was just a fun book.
Yeah, he
Fun book
I
because
don't
he
know.
got killed and he comes up from the grave.
Yeah,
Yes, fun book. But
yeah. A
he,
little girl watches her dad die. It is super fun. He gets revenge. Um, yeah, I think Matthew Roberts did the creature from the Black Lagoon. Yeah,
Oh, that was a good
I
one. Yeah,
that was
the
good.
book. Yeah.
yeah.
He did one
He
of those
he
books.
he
Yeah,
pops
that's
up
good.
from time to time, but Manifest Destiny, I think, is like a very slept on book, and
Yeah, I have both deluxe hardcovers. I just looked. Yeah, I
he's
haven't.
usually at I think he's usually at Heroes Con.
All right. Well, do you guys want to talk Fireborn?
Let's
Is it
close
one
it
you guys
out.
read? All right. Brian, did you read it?
No, because I haven't read any Lost Fantasy. Um,
Well,
I'm
okay.
mostly shocked that we're not talking about this book.
That came out this.
It
I have
just
not
came
read
out
it yet.
today. Yes,
That
you got
book
to give me
being The
time.
Forged,
Oh, and
number
four
10.
more, and not that many issues to go before it's done. I'm sad, but um, Brian, I don't feel like you need to read Lost Fantasy to read this. It's
Okay.
tied to it, but not. There's a scene in, oh, what issue is this? Lost Fantasy 9 that says to be continued in Fireborn. Like it's a little side couple pages that then
Hmm.
break out into this series. In reading Fireborn, there's a few little nods to Lost Fantasy, but I don't think you're not going to be lost if you well, you're not you'll
I
be
won't be
fine
lost in the
without
fantasy.
reading it. This is going to sound bad, and we have talked about Lost Fantasy before. I want to like Lost Fantasy more than I do.
It's
It
okay.
seems like it has a big world building behind it, but it just is going in so many directions that I can't, even though they're all like double size issues and I read a few at a time, it's not quite clicking with me. Hassan, are you caught up on Lost Fantasy?
No, I need to get caught up on it on Global Comics app,
Gold.
but Gold.
It
But
is all
I,
there.
it is all there.
and yeah, I do like that all the issues are double sized and all that. It's a fine book. It's just not blowing me away. I want to like it a little more because I love fantasy type books. It's got some amazing world building. I just wish it would expound on it more. Because even though the issues are double sized, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like there's a lot there sometimes. But all that to say, and y'all, and this is to the audience, I am being critical of stuff because I feel like that's what we need to do. I'm not just going to tell you everything's wonderful. So again, if y'all
This
want to
book is
hate on me for
amazing, and I
doing
think
that,
it's one of the greatest books I've ever read.
yeah, if y'all want to hate on me for my opinions, that's fine. But I feel like I
But
need to be
to be
fair
fair,
and
we
not
do
just say
we are
everything's wonderful.
we're all critical. I mean, we are. I think
Yeah.
we're selective critical because we all don't like the book at all. We're not even going to talk about it. So we don't.
Yes. Yeah.
So you could put that. Uh,
Asterisk on all of this.
yes.
Well, we do make some shitty comments occasionally when we don't like a book, but it's usually not, we're not going in deep and talking on the book. Anyway, Fireborn. Hassan, did you read it?
I did.
Did you feel lost without reading Lost Fantasy?
I don't know the connection. I don't understand are these people like from the future? Some of these, yeah, like I don't know. It was confusing to
Yeah.
me, especially so. One, the most famous thing about this book, though, I forgot the why people are talking about this book. Is its script is by Kurt Priest Perez. How do you say his name? Kurt
Kurt Pires? I don't know.
Kurt Perez Pierce is the script, but the other co-writer is Franklin Jonas from the Jonas Brothers, which is yeah. I think the art was good. Patrick Moon Holland Mulholland
Mulholland.
art is really good, but it's kind of weird. It you start off with this like the beginning starts off with this guy being attacked, and then he turns on his armor, but then it's just a flashback on how we got there, which is and it's a long flashback. This is a double sized issue. I I I don't know how much we want to get into it, but I was a little lost, like no pun intended, what was going on. Um,
So at the beginning, some guy runs into this kid, and the guy's being chased, and he's got some sort of egg that leads directly from Lost Fantasy, but we only have like a few pages of that scene. Like this dude and some other people rob some sort of magical safe house type thing, and they're taking this egg that apparently has a dragon in it, but I don't really know anything more than that besides there haven't been dragons in a while. And this dude collides with the kid, and the kid can see the dragon like hanging in the sky like a little, like one of the little ones. Like it hasn't been hatched yet, but the dragon's essence is there. And the kid touches it and gets this armor that looks like the dragon's scales. And other than that, we don't know what he can do, but he does get a flash of the future, and he's fighting the main character from Lost Fantasy like they're enemies. So at some point, this character weaves back into Lost Fantasy. Like it's the rules and stuff are set up for that world. So all the different magic societies and underground is here, but this kid's not tied to that at all. But yeah, you only missed like 2 pages from 3 pages from Lost Fantasy that supposedly led into this. Hassan, I'm with
Interesting.
you though. I do like the art. I think that I like this art better than the art in Lost Fantasy myself.
yeah, it's really good art. The designs are great too. That's just not just the art, the designs, and then when you turn on his armor, it's really cool. The kid does seem like a asshole though, right? Is it just me or rich prick, and his father's
A
in
little
trouble?
bit, not like bad. Like his dad apparently stole is was a rich dude and real estate and like stole a bunch of stuff from people and is being investigated or on trial right now. But his mom seems pretty all right, and he lives with his mom. But yeah, I didn't like think he was an asshole, but I wasn't like, oh, this kid's just wonderful either.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I didn't realize this was one of the Jonas brothers writing this one either, Haas, and I just don't pay too close attention to that.
I mean, you're not.
Hassan always is paying attention to the Jonas Brothers and what they're doing.
Don't you see the posters behind me? Oh, too bad we're not on video.
Oh, but well, I am current on Lost Fantasy, and since this ties in, I wouldn't be surprised if I keep reading both of these. So, all right. Any other Image books y'all want to talk
I
about?
think we went through quite a bit.
We
You
did.
forgot one. Absolute Batman number 20.
Which we talked about last week, Brian. Remember on the top of the stack?
Sure. Oh, Haas's. Uh, anyway, all right. Well, folks, Hassan just said what we're covering next week. Top of the stack. All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us. We have given you a lot to check out. I'm sure there will be at least one series in all of this that you'll enjoy. So go grab a few image issues or just subscribe to Global Comics and get them there. All right,
On gold
folks.
tier.
Yeah, on Gold, you'll get them for free as part of the subscription. Hassan, where can they find us?
You can find us on all the social medias as Comics Discourse 114. And if you like this episode, you could, or you want to send us a note about any of the comics we talked about, send us a note as well as comicsdiscourse114 at gmail.com. And please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to your podcast.
All right, folks. Well, thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.